What we were discussing in our last class is what is aquaculture and what are the methods of aquaculture or advantages of aquaculture. Another topic that we have to study is what are the traditional means in older methods which are normally used by people in Kerala or in other parts of India. So about those methods we will be discussing today. Now, the traditional aquaculture practice are those that have been employed for centuries. For example, if you go to many places in Kerala, we can find the farmers there are employing or utilizing a lot of older techniques, and that has been practiced for several centuries or several hundred or so years. And these techniques are known as a traditional aquaculture. And primarily they are employed in village communities or in rural areas and using the local resources. They are most of the time you may be able to see that they are using this coconut leaves or other things, or sometimes that other types of plant material for collecting fish. Sometimes basket made up of this lot of plant-based materials. So these are the normal techniques which are employed by people in India and also in other parts of Asia for capturing the fish. And these methods are often sustainable. Sustainable means they can be, they are not going to create any kind of environmental problem, and they are very cheap also. And they are also integrated with the local ecosystem. Whatever resources are available in that local community are mainly utilized for this kind of traditional aquaculture. So here there are number of methods and we will be discussing it one by one. One is the pond culture. The idea is very clear. The culturing fish or rearing fish in a pond is known as the pond culture. We don't need to elaborate on that. And this is the ancient, one of the oldest aquaculture practice. And fish are reared in earthen ponds. We will be digging up soil and we will be making a pond just like the pond that we have made here, and are often in close proximity or very near to our residence. That's one peculiar advantage of pond culture. And what are the important features of pond culture? The ponds are dug manually, because we will be digging out the soil, and we are also relying on natural waters, either rainfall or rivers or groundwater. So we are employing most of the local resources here. Then the local fish species are commonly stocked. So that is another, because we are not utilizing any foreign or exotic species there. So when we are employing local fish species are very much tolerant and have high immunity against disease present in those areas. So most of the fish will be surviving. So that is one advantage of employing local fish species. Then organic waste from the household and agriculture, because in our kitchen there will be a lot of waste, especially the kitchen waste will be there, and this kitchen waste can be given to the fish. So these are some of the important techniques that we are using in the case of pond culture. Here there are some examples. Carp is a good fish, then catfish and tilapia. In our pond we are cultivating tilapia, because tilapia is a fast growing fish. Within a period of 6 months it will reach the adult size. So that is one advantage of growing tilapia, and similarly carp also are growing very fast. Then what are the advantages? It's a low cost, because we are utilizing the natural resources. The cost will be very low, maintenance will be very low. We don't need, only thing that we have to bother is the giving them daily food. Other than that there is no maintenance is required, and can be integrated with the local agriculture. That is also another advantage of pond culture. Then second type of traditional aquaculture is rice fish farming. The fish are cultivated alongside rice crops in paddy field. If you go to paddy fields in Kumaragam area or Vaikam area, you can find this practice of rice fish farming. Now what are the important features of this is that utilize the inundation of paddy field. Inundation means flooding. During the monsoon time, you can see that most of the paddy fields in our area will be flooded with water. And during that time, farmers will be utilizing aquaculture, or we will be putting fish in that and will be cultivating fish by aquacultural methods. So during the monsoon season, the natural inundation means flooding with the water of our paddy fields will be taking place, and fish feeds on insect and weeds and help to maintain them. Another advantage is that when we are growing fish, the whatever insects and weeds which are present in the rice paddy field, that can act as a food for the fish. So that is another advantage, because if you are cultivating paddy continuously throughout the year, there will be an increase in the amount of insect pest. So if you are cultivating paddy for 6 months, and for the next 6 months we are growing fish in that farm, most of the insect pest will be removed or destroyed by the fish. So that is an advantage of rice fish farming. For 6 months we are rearing fish, another 6 months we are growing, we will be cultivating paddy in that. So that is that we are cultivating paddy alongside the fish will be cultivated alongside rice crops. That is the advantage of rice fish farming. Then whatever type of fish, mainly tilapia will be cultivated, common carp will be cultivated. So these are some of the 3 most common species. And regarding the advantages, develop production of rice and fish, reduced use of pesticide, because since fish will be feeding on the insect pest of paddy, we don't need to utilize any kind of pesticide. Then we don't need to use fertilizers also, because the droppings of the fish can act as a good fertilizer. So that benefits both aquaculture as well as agriculture. So here we are growing, agriculture is combined with aquaculture. So that kind of technique is known as the rice fish farming. It is widely practiced in several areas in Kerala. Another technique is cage culture. Now, enclosure made of bamboo or netting are set up in natural waters like lake, river, backwaters, etc. I will show you a picture of cage culture. Here you can see that this is how the cage culture are normally. So this kind of enclosures will be there. So this is a very good example of cage culture. Here also you can see that. So these are the techniques that we are using in the use of cage culture. There will be an enclosure made up of net, so that fish will be trapped in that cage. So it cannot move out of the cage. So that is the one important advantage of cage culture. Here also you can find another methods of cage culture. Here also this is another. So in the use of cage culture, what we are doing is that we will be utilizing techniques like this to trap the fish in the cage, so that it may not be able to move out. The important features are fish are confined. Confined means restricted within the cage, but still in their natural environment. So that is one advantage. Here the fish will be trapped in the cage. We are utilizing the natural water. So natural waters will be bringing most of the soil, most of the oxygen, and also removing the waste material. But at the same time, we don't need to provide any water, because we are simply putting this cage in a natural setup, and because of the natural setup, see here also you can see how the cage has been implanted here. See, by using the weight or sink, and also by using ropes, we will be fixing the cage properly in one area. So these are some of the techniques that we are employing in cage culture. Minimal feeding is required, because we are utilizing natural water. So these are some, and fish will be naturally feeding on the plankton which are present in that. So we don't need to provide any food material in the use of cage culture, because we are utilizing the natural water. And here you can see tilapia, milkfish, and local indigenous fish species are mainly utilized. Regarding the advantages, low maintenance cost is involved, Then utilize existing water body. We are not we are not making any water bodies as in the ESOP pond culture. Then another is the pen culture. Enclosures or pens are constructed in shallow parts of river, lakes or estuaries. I will show you a picture of pen culture, so you will be able to understand what is a pen culture. Here you can see that. See, these kind of enclosures are used. So this is a very good example of pen culture. See, this kind of it is also similar to the cage culture, and this kind of things are known as the pen. So here also enclosures or pens are constructed in shallow parts of the river or lakes. There is not much difference between cage culture and pen culture. This kind of structures are known by the name pen culture, and this is another example of the pen culture. So here what we are, see, these are all pen cultures. So here this is known as a pen culture. This is another example of the pen culture. So this is this kind of enclosures are known as a pen. And most of the time we will be using natural material like bamboo, reeds or nets are used. Then similar to cage culture but involves a larger area. So that is the main difference between that. In the case of pen culture, a large area will be utilized for keeping this pen. Mainly different kind of natural fishes, local fishes like prawns and brackish water fishes are used like mullet, kanamba. Then advantages of pen culture is that they are very cost effective and also require minimal infrastructure. We don't need a lot of, because most of the materials like bamboo, reeds, etc. are made from natural resources. So that is why pen culture is widely utilized by farmers here. Then integrated aquaculture. Integrated means combined with something else. Earlier we have seen rice farming, rice fish farming. Similar to this, here the combination of aquaculture with other farming practice like livestock or crop farming. So if you are combining this natural aquaculture with other type of agricultural practice like rearing of livestock or crops is known as integrated aquaculture. The waste from livestock is utilized to fertilize the water. Earlier we have seen that promoting growth of plankton, and crops benefit from nutrient rich waters of fish pond. I will show you pictures of that. In case of integrated aquaculture, here you can see that. Fish aquaculture. Okay. There is no good fix. So this is one picture that is showing the integrated aquaculture. The idea is that we will be growing fish, and the droppings of the fish that will act as an fertilizer for the agriculture. Similarly, the whatever agricultural waste will be produced, that will be acting as a source of food. There are some more idea like duck fish farming. I will show you this duck fish farming. That may be a good example of. See, here you can see that. In the case of duck fish farming, this is a picture showing the duck fish farming. See, this is the idea. See, here maybe in this picture you may be able to see. See, ducks will be grown, will be rearing or reared on this kind of platforms. You can see that. And below the platform, see, these are the platforms where we are rearing the duck, and below it will be water. Okay, you can see here, this is the water. So there will be a raised platform. In that raised platform, ducks will be reared, and the droppings or the waste produced by the ducks will be falling into the water, and that will be acting as a food for the fish. So we don't need to provide any food for the fish. That natural waste or droppings of the duck will be utilized by the fish for their growth. So this kind of method is also common in many. If you go to Kumaragam area, you can see this duck fish farming. So it's also a very good technique of utilizing the natural resource. Similarly, instead of duck, we can use poultry. Then we can fish come vegetable farming. That is another technique. So here, in case of integrated aquaculture, one kind of fish will be combined with rearing of fish will be combined with some other forms of agriculture. Most of the time, it will be either growing of crops or rearing of poultry or duck fish farming. So this is an idea regarding how integrated aquaculture is practiced. Advantages is that they are highly sustainable, because since we are employing the waste from one type of agriculture in another type of agriculture, the cost will be very less. So that is the advantage of integrated aquaculture. Then seasonal wetland fish farming. So here involves the use of seasonally inundated wetlands. Of inundated means flooding or flooded. Inundated wetlands or floodplains. The fish are stocked when water level rise during month, because if you observe that during rainfall, most of our paddy fields will be flooded. Most of the low-lying areas in Kerala will be flooded, and we can utilize those areas for rearing of fish. So that is the known as seasonal wetland fish farming. So during the summer season, there will not be any water there. But in this low-lying area, during the rainy season, it will be flooded, and there will be and it will be very easy to grow fish in that. And harvesting occurs when water recedes. So what we are doing is that there are many kinds of fish. For example, in case of tilapia, the tilapia will reach adult size within 6 months. So if we are utilizing fast growing fish species like tilapia or other type of fish, it will be very easy to cultivate fish from this natural seasonal wetlands. Most of the time, rohu, mrigal, katla, all these fish species are fast growing fish, and we can harvest them after 3-4 months. That is one advantage of wetland fish farming. Then shrimp farming in tidal flats. Shrimp means prawns. Practiced in coastal area where tidal flats are converted into shrimp farms. Now here we will be utilizing tidal water for exchange and aeration. I will show you pictures of how this tidal shrimp farming is practiced. Here you can see that so these are some areas where the tidal areas are actually utilized for shrimp farming. See, these kind of tidal areas in Kerala or in other parts of Asia are employed by people for growing of the shrimp. And most of the time, many common like tiger prawn. Tiger prawns are very expensive and are in high market and a high market demand. I will show you the tiger prawns. So this type of prawns are known as the tiger prawns. Here you can see that. So they have a high demand. This is the black tiger prawn. They are also very larger also. They have a markings like this. That is why they are known by the name tiger prawns, and they are also very cost effective for coastal, because the prawns can bring good money. If you are able to grow prawns in your farms, it will be very profitable, because prawns are highly expensive and they also bring a lot of money. So this is the shrimp farming in tidal flats. Then trap pond fishing. Fish are trapped in ponds formed naturally in riverbeds during dry season. So that is also similar to the normal type of pond farming, and relies on the natural behavior of fish migrating to deeper pools as water level drops. For example, in the low-lying areas of Kerala or in other parts of India, after the monsoon season, only in certain areas of these lowlands water will be present, and they can be called as a pond. And gradually we will be trapping this fish in this low-lying pond and will be harvesting when they are reaching the maturity. And here we don't need to stock anything. We are actually utilizing the natural environment. So it's almost similar to pond fish farming. Then brackish water farming. So this is another technique. What we are using, we will be utilizing the estuarine or brackish water. What is brackish water? A combination mixture of river water and sea water. That is known as a brackish water. So utilize the estuarine or brackish water area for fish or shellfish culture. And tidal water is used for exchange of nutrients. The advantages of brackish water is that many kinds of fish. For example, if you take this Etroplus, pearl spot, Karimine, they will be growing mainly in brackish water. It is a brackish water fish. So there are several species of fish that will be mainly growing in brackish water, where the salinity level will be more or lesser than sea water and more than fresh water. Such waters are known by the name brackish water, milkfish, mud crab, mullet, etc. These are examples of brackish water. And advantages of brackish water farming is that they are very highly productive. That's one advantage, and we don't need any kind of artificial intervention. So that is also one advantages of brackish water farming. Then Kuttivalai or stake net culture. This is a traditional aquaculture practice in Kuttivalai. I may be able to see this kind of exactly the okay. So this is also the main feature is a bamboo stakes and nets are used for performing. This is also similar to cage farming. Here we may be able to see that this kind of cage farming is known as the Kuttivalai. This kind of cage farming is also known by the name Kuttivalai in or stake net culture, and mainly pearl spot will be reared and mullet will be reared. So advantages of this is that it will be utilizing the resources of the natural ecosystem. Whatever natural materials present in that area, that will be mainly employed by people for this stake net culture. It is a traditional practice of growing fish in Kerala. Then what are the benefits of this aquaculture, traditional aquaculture? One is sustainability. What is sustainability? Low reliance on artificial. We are not utilizing much artificial material. Only net is the artificial material. All other materials are actually natural material or present in that local area. And close alignment with the natural cycles of water as well as rainfall, summer, etc. Then cost effectiveness, minimal infrastructure and operational cost. Since most of the time the only material that we are using are bamboo or net, we don't need so much money, and in many cases we are also utilizing the droppings of fish or duck etc. for as food. So that also reduce the cost of feeding. So because feeding is an important expense in rearing of the fish. So if we can reduce the cost of feeding, we can increase the profit level. Then biodiversity conservation, we are naturally utilizing the local species or indigenous species, and because of that, that will be increasing the promoting the diversity in that area. Because when we are bringing fish species present in other parts of the world, and that will be interfering with the biodiversity in the local area, and many species can become pest or resulting in the damage of other natural species there. Then cultural integration, and this kind of practice like cage culture etc. or duck fish farming etc. are practiced by farmers for several thousands of years. So that is so there is a deep tradition in those area, and also environmental benefits like nutrient recycling, and it also reduces the pollution. So these are some of the benefits of utilizing the traditional agricultural methods over the modern methods.